The Intergalactic Predatory Council, or IPC, represented the pinnacle of hunting culture across the stars. Its members, each a renowned predator in their own right, gathered in their grand chamber, a vast hall of shimmering obsidian and holographic displays, boasting trophies from countless worlds. To them, the art of the hunt was more than sport. It was a declaration of superiority, a test of their advanced physiology and technology against the natural ferocity of other species. Earth, however, was a source of amusement. On a central display, they watched clips of lions lounging in the sun, tigers retreating from unexpected challenges, and bears scavenging for easy meals. The creatures seemed primitive, lacking the cunning or ferocity of the galaxy's apex predators. Laughter echoed as one council member scoffed, "These are their best? No wonder the humans dominate so easily. Their predators are lazy relics." Commander Zetar, a seasoned hunter with a streak of arrogance, leaned back in his throne-like seat, his crimson eyes narrowing. "Earth is a joke," he said, his voice tinged with disdain. "Their so-called apex predators couldn't even serve as prey for my youngest offspring." An elder council member, draped in ceremonial armor adorned with talons and fangs, raised a clawed hand to silence the room. "Then prove it, Zetar," he said, his voice sharp as broken glass. "The Earth challenge has remained open for centuries. Bring back a trophy worthy of our halls." Zetar smirked, rising from his seat. "It will be my pleasure." He activated a hologram, displaying a map of Earth's ecosystems. "I will hunt their fiercest predator, and when I return, no one will question my supremacy." "Be cautious, Commander," said a younger council member. "Earth may seem unimpressive, but the unknown is often deceptive." Zetar dismissed the warning with a wave. "I fear no creature born of that backwater world." Preparations for the hunt began immediately. Zetar's ship, the Ravager, was equipped with advanced tracking systems, energy-based weaponry, and adaptive camouflage. To him, this mission was less about the challenge and more about bolstering his already substantial reputation. As he departed, the council chamber buzzed with anticipation, placing bets on how quickly the hunt would conclude. The Ravager breached Earth's atmosphere under the cover of night, descending toward the African savanna. Zetar chose this biome deliberately, aiming to encounter the creature's humanity most revered in its lore. Lions, leopards, and hyenas appeared on his scanners, each tagged with detailed data on their behavior and physical capabilities. None impressed him. "These are predators," he muttered, watching a lion pride lounge near a watering hole. "Pathetic." His attention shifted to a lone cheetah stalking a gazelle. The creature's speed was remarkable, but its fragility made it unsuitable for a true test of skill. He moved on, scanning the environment with increasing impatience. Hours passed without finding a target he deemed worthy. As dawn broke, Zetar's scanner detected an anomaly. A small, seemingly insignificant creature aggressively confronting a group of jackals over a carcass. The animal was no larger than a juvenile predator, with coarse black and white fur and a compact, muscular build. Despite its size, it exhibited no hesitation, lashing out with razor-sharp claws and powerful jaws. The jackals, clearly intimidated, retreated. Intrigued, Zetar studied the creature more closely. Its biological readout revealed a surprising combination of traits: dense skin resistant to punctures, a high pain tolerance, and a fearless disposition. The local data identified it as a honey badger. A smirk curled across Zetar's lips. "This is their fiercest predator? A rodent-sized beast with a bad attitude? This hunt will be over before it begins." Yet, there was a peculiar note in the creature's profile. Caution advised. Species exhibits unpredictable aggression and advanced problem-solving behavior. Dismissing it as human exaggeration, Zetar marked the honey badger as his target. It would serve as a humorous addition to his collection, a testament to the mediocrity of Earth's wildlife. As Zetar prepared his equipment, his confidence bordered on hubris. This was not a hunt. It was a performance. Little did he know, he had just chosen a battle that would test him in ways no galactic predator ever anticipated. Zetar's ship settled silently in the savannah, its camouflage blending seamlessly with the surrounding terrain. The hunter stepped out, his armor gleaming under the early morning sun, exuding a sense of dominance. His advanced scanners hummed softly, projecting a translucent map of the area. The honey badger's location blinked as a glowing marker, only a few hundred meters away. He moved with precision, his footsteps soundless against the dry grass. The honey badger was foraging, tearing into a burrow with ferocious determination. Zetar observed, unimpressed by its diminutive size. He deployed a small drone, designed to capture the creature non-lethally for further study. It hovered silently, a thin net coiled inside its chassis. With a flick of his wrist, the net shot out, ensnaring the honey badger in a seamless motion. Zetar approached, already imagining the council's laughter when he presented this tiny, thrashing creature as Earth's apex predator. But as he leaned in to examine it, the honey badger displayed a startling burst of strength. It tore through the reinforced netting with claws that glinted like steel. Zetar's amusement faded into mild irritation. "Persistent little thing," he muttered, recalibrating the drone for a stronger capture attempt. Before the device could react, the honey badger lunged at it, snapping its delicate rotors with a single bite. The drone sputtered and crashed, its lights fading. Zetar stared, his irritation now tinged with surprise. This was no ordinary prey. Undeterred, Zetar decided to take a more direct approach. He activated his tranquilizer rifle, calibrated for creatures several times the honey badger's size. The dart struck true, embedding itself in the animal's shoulder. For a moment, the honey badger staggered, its movements slowing. Zetar waited, confident that the tranquilizer would render it unconscious. To his disbelief, the creature shook itself violently, dislodging the dart. Its eyes locked onto him with a focus that sent an unexpected chill through his spine. Then it charged. Zetar barely sidestepped the attack, the honey badger's claws grazing the edge of his armor. Its audacity was unnerving. This was no act of desperation but a calculated offensive. Zetar recalibrated his approach, deploying an energy barrier to corral the creature. The honey badger paced within the glowing confines, testing the barrier with claw swipes. When it realized the field wouldn't yield, it began digging. Within moments, it disappeared beneath the soil. Zetar's scanners struggled to track it as it tunneled with astonishing speed. Suddenly, the ground beneath him shifted. The honey badger emerged, striking at his leg. Its claws scraped against his armor, leaving deep gouges that shouldn't have been possible. Zetar stumbled back, activating a pulse wave to repel it. The creature was thrown several meters but landed on its feet, unfazed. For the first time, Zetar felt the stirrings of frustration. This was supposed to be a simple hunt, a formality. Yet this tiny beast had already outmaneuvered his traps, destroyed his equipment, and physically engaged him without hesitation. Worse, it seemed to thrive on confrontation, growing bolder with every failed attempt to subdue it. He decided to escalate. Pulling a containment sphere from his belt, Zetar set it to maximum capture mode. The sphere expanded, forming an electrified cage around the honey badger. Sparks flew as the creature collided with the bars, snarling in defiance. Zetar watched closely, certain this would finally contain the relentless predator. But the honey badger, undeterred by pain, continued to test the cage. Its claws found a weak point where the bars joined, prying them apart with unrelenting force. The energy surged, shocking the creature repeatedly, but it refused to relent. Zetar's disbelief turned to genuine concern as the honey badger tore through the cage, emerging singed but victorious. His scanners beeped furiously, warning him of the creature's heightened aggression. The honey badger's heart rate and adrenaline levels spiked to levels that defied its physiology. It advanced toward Zetar, its eyes glowing with primal fury. For the first time in his storied career, the hunter felt a flicker of doubt. He activated his cloaking device, retreating to recalibrate his strategy. But even invisible, he could feel the honey badger's presence, as though it could sense his every move. This was no ordinary prey. It was a force of nature, a living embodiment of resilience and defiance. Zetar realized too late that he had gravely underestimated this creature, and the world it called home. Zetar recalibrated his strategy, his pride bruised and his patience wearing thin. The honey badger had proven itself far more formidable than any prey he had ever encountered, and it was clear that traditional tactics were insufficient. He activated a high-level tracking mode on his suit, which would allow him to predict and counter the creature's movements. This wasn't just a hunt anymore. It was a battle for dominance, and Zetar was determined not to lose. He prepared a more elaborate trap, integrating both physical and psychological tactics. Using bait to mimic the scent of a fresh kill, he lured the honey badger into a carefully designed arena, surrounded by walls reinforced with an electromagnetic field. The bait was placed at the center, atop a pressure-sensitive platform that would trigger a containment system once the creature approached. To Zetar, the plan was foolproof. The honey badger emerged from the underbrush, its posture cautious but confident. It circled the bait, sniffing the air and studying the unfamiliar environment. Zetar watched from his concealed position, impressed by its calculated approach. The creature was not driven purely by instinct, it was analyzing, learning. For a moment, he felt a twinge of respect for its relentless nature. When the honey badger finally stepped onto the platform, the trap activated. Steel-like walls rose from the ground, creating an enclosed chamber. Zetar emerged from hiding, confident that victory was at hand. He approached the enclosure, preparing to secure his prize. But as he drew closer, the honey badger launched itself at the walls with unrelenting fury. Sparks flew as its claws tore at the reinforced surface, exploiting microscopic weaknesses in the structure. Within minutes, the walls began to buckle under the assault. Zetar attempted to reinforce the containment system, but the honey badger's relentless attack caused critical failures in the field's stability. The creature breached the trap, emerging with a fierceness that left Zetar momentarily stunned. It didn't flee or hesitate. It charged directly at him. Zetar activated his suit's defensive protocols, deploying an energy shield to block the attack. The honey badger collided with the barrier, but instead of retreating, it dug its claws into the surface, creating hairline fractures in the energy matrix. Each strike weakened the shield further, forcing Zetar to expend more power to maintain its integrity. Realizing the shield wouldn't hold, Zetar switched to offense, deploying a shockwave emitter to repel the creature. The blast sent the honey badger flying backward, but it landed on its feet. Its gaze locked onto him with unrelenting determination. It was as if the creature thrived on the challenge, growing more aggressive with every setback. Zetar fired a series of precision plasma bolts, aiming to incapacitate the creature without killing it. The honey badger dodged with uncanny reflexes, weaving through the blasts and closing the distance between them. It lunged at Zetar's leg, its powerful jaws clamping down on his armor. The material, designed to withstand extreme forces, began to buckle under the pressure. Zetar activated an emergency countermeasure, releasing a burst of cryogenic gas to freeze the honey badger in place. The creature momentarily slowed, its movements sluggish as frost coated its fur. But even as the temperature dropped, the honey badger refused to yield. With a final surge of strength, it shattered the icy layer and leaped toward Zetar's chest. The impact knocked him off balance, and he hit the ground hard, his suit's systems blaring warnings of critical damage. For the first time in his career, Zetar felt genuine fear. This was no ordinary predator. It was a force of nature, an embodiment of unyielding survival. Desperate, Zetar activated his ship's automated defense systems, summoning drones to subdue the creature. The drones swarmed the honey badger, firing containment beams and deploying restraints. The creature fought with unparalleled ferocity, dismantling the drones one by one. Zetar could only watch as his technology, his pride, was systematically torn apart by this indomitable beast. Finally, Zetar made a decision he had never before considered. He activated an emergency teleport, retreating to his ship to regroup. From the safety of the Ravager, He watched as the honey badger stood amidst the wreckage of his drones. Its fur singed but its spirit unbroken. It let out a low growl, as if daring him to return. Zetar slumped into his command chair, his mind racing. This wasn't a defeat he could rationalize or excuse. The honey badger had proven itself beyond his expectations, not just as a predator but as a symbol of raw, unrelenting survival. For the first time, he understood the warnings he had dismissed. The unknown was not to be underestimated. As he prepared to leave Earth, Zetar glanced back at the savannah one last time. The honey badger, now a mere speck in the distance, had taught him a lesson he would never forget. This hunt had not humbled the creature, it had humbled him.